Good evening, students. So up till now we have talked on the genes, the pattern of inheritance, that is the Mendelian pattern of inheritance, as well as variations, that is what we call as non-Mendelian inheritance. In that we have studied regarding incomplete dominance, codominance, pleiotropism, multifilialism, polygenic inheritance, like that. So today our major emphasis would be on to discuss chromosomal theory of inheritance. So the topic is chromosomal theory of inheritance. This theory is important for NEET as well as for board exams for 3 marks. In board exams it may ask. So let us revise some basic figures regarding this chapter. In the year 1865, Mendel has published his work. And we also know that for several years the work of Mendel remained unrecognized. Now why the work of Mendel remained unrecognized? Because actually Mendel was using, first of all, communication was not proper. Communication was not proper at that time. This is the first reason why Mendel's work remained unrecognized for several years. Then Mendel uses the statistical tools. So he used mathematical as well as statistical tool to explain the genetics, to explain the biological concepts. Now scientists at that time thought, they have a mindset that how can a mathematician, actually he was a mathematician, Mendel. So what scientist fraternity thought is that Mendel is a mathematician. How come any mathematician can explain the biological concepts in the very confined way? So that's why this is the reason why Mendel's work remained unrecognized. And the most important one was the factors which we now call it as genes. He could not provide the physical evidence of their factors. So physical evidence or physical proof regarding existence of factors was not provided by Mendel. It was not provided by Mendel. And one more reason is Darwin's work was also going on at that time. So majority of the scientist fraternity were focusing on the Darwin's work. So at that time they have ignored Mendel's work. Now, but in year 1900, three scientists, De Vries, Correls and Schuckermark, they have rediscovered Mendel's work. So which were the three scientists? Name you have to remember. De Vries, Correls as well as Schuckermark rediscovered Mendel's work. And in year 1902, this chromosomal theory of inheritance was put forward. So in 1902, chromosomal theory of inheritance was put forward by Sutton and Boveri. S-U-T-O-N, Sutton and Boveri. So this was the year 1865 in which Mendel published his work, but for several years his work remained unrecognized for these reasons. Then in year 1900, three scientists, De Vries, Correls as well as Schuckermark, redefined Mendel's work. And in year 1902, the chromosomal theory of inheritance was put forward by two different scientists, that is Sutton and Boveri. Now let us discuss what is the actual concept or what is the actual theory, that is chromosomal theory of inheritance. So basically in 1902, when this theory was proposed, this theory laid a major emphasis on something that is what we call it as chromosomes. So by the year 1902, cells discovery as well as the nucleus, microscope discovery was appropriate at that time. So microscope, that analytical techniques was discovered. So the movement of chromosomes within the cell, that means within the nucleus during cell division, we know chromosomes move towards the two equatorial plate, that is the two metaphase plate. So that study can be carried out using analytical tools like microscope. So in the 1902, till 1902, the microscope was discovered. The study of the cell, nucleus and chromosomes was little bit known to the scientists of that particular time, and this has led to the development of chromosomal theory of inheritance. So basically, chromosomal theory of inheritance has a major role to play in chromosomes. Now, this theory, which was put forward by Sutton and Boveri, is also a kind of mechanism or kind of the theory which is derived from Mendel's work only. Mendel was worked on factors, and chromosomal theory of inheritance by Sutton and Boveri has major emphasis on chromosomes. So now we will discuss the differences between the Mendel as well as chromosomal theory of inheritance. So the first, there Mendel's work, that is the Mendel's theory, and here let us write the chromosomal theory. Okay, so chromosomal theories also you can say it is a revised form of Mendel work. Both of them are same, but here we will use the word factor. In chromosomal theory, in case of factor, the word chromosome is used. Otherwise, the mechanism is same. So the first is the factors, or which we also call it as genes, occur in pairs. So factors, what Mendel says that factors or alleles or genes, factors occurs in pairs. Here chromosome also occurs in pair according to Sutton and Boveri. So the first point here is chromosomes also occur in pair. Now, chromosome also occur in pair, and that pair is called as homologous pair. So the pair is called as homologous pair. So here also there should be one scientific technical name, factors occur in pair, and we know that factors are now called as genes which occur in pair. There are two forms of the genes, and that is what we call as allele. So the factors or genes occur in pair. It has two forms, that is the dominant and recessive, which we call as allele. Chromosomes also occur in pair, and that is what we call as homologous pair of chromosome. Okay. Now the second point is, again, the factors or these genes segregate or separate during gametogenesis. So the second is factors, or you can also say allele or gene separate during gamete formation. They separate during gamete formation. Here also chromosomes also separate during gamete formation, during, that is, the cell division. So chromosome also separate during gamete formation. And what is the process of gamete formation called as? Gametogenesis. So what is gametogenesis? Gametogenesis is the process in which gametes are produced. We know that male gamete is called as sperm, and the female gamete is what we call as ova. Gametes are always haploid, but the parent from which gametes are produced are always diploid. That is true, and gametes are always, and that is haploid. Now focus here. Factor alleles separate during gamete formation. So this we have already seen in Mendel's first law, second law, that is monohabit cross experiment. Let us say capital T, which is crossed with small t. Clear? So when the gamete are produced from either of the parent, each gamete will receive only one of the allele. That is what the law of segregation was. So factor alleles separate during gamete formation, and they separate in such a way that each gamete will receive only one of the allele. Clear? So this is what the second thing, point between the Mendel's work as well as the chromosomal theory of inheritance, which was proposed by Sutton and Boveri. Now the third and the most important point is the factors or alleles or genes assort independently, and this is what we have learned in dihabit cross experiment, or the law which was that Mendel's third law of inheritance, that is law of independent assortment. So capital R small r, capital Y small y. This was the F1 generation which we observed or which we obtained in the Dalhabert-Cross experiment. In this, what we have seen, that capital R can go with capital Y, capital R can go with small y. Similarly, small r can go with capital Y, small r can go with small y. Same thing here also, that is in chromosomal theory. So chromosomes also assort independently. So chromosomes also assort independently. Clear? Now let us discuss this, how chromosome assort independently. Say for example, this is the one chromosome, the homologous chromosome pair, and this is the second one. Now here let us say capital A and the small a are the genes. Here capital B and small b are present. So capital A can go with capital B, capital A can also assort with small b. Similarly, small a can go with capital B, small a can go with small b. So if chromosomes separate or they separate during the process of cell division, that is meiosis or mitosis process, then the factors or the genes that they carry will also separate or segregate. So this is the third point of chromosomal theory of inheritance, that is the factors assort independently while chromosomes also assort independently. Now basically Sutton and Boveri, and at the last they have concluded is that these chromosomes, I am writing here only, these chromosomes contain genes at their specific loci, that is the locus. Locus is the specific location of gene in a chromosome. So what they concluded at the end of this discussion is that chromosomes contains genes and these genes are the unit of heredity. So since these genes are located on the chromosome, that's why they named this theory as chromosomal theory of inheritance. Clear? Because genes are located as a part of chromosome, and actually this can also be treated as a unit of heredity or inheritance. That's why they call as chromosomal theory of inheritance, because genes are present where on the chromosome. So this is all about the chromosomal theory of inheritance.